Have you ever thought to yourself, I wonder why they act the way that they do? What is going on in their brain right now? I think that so often in my day-to-day life, so much so that I have decided to actually pursue a degree in psychology. There are so many different levels of degree that you could attain, so many different jobs that are looking for psychology degrees. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the timeline for receiving those degrees and what kind of jobs that you can get with that degree should you decide to go that route. So the first level of a psychology degree is a bachelor's degree. And a bachelor's degree takes usually about a minimum of 4 years, depending on your unique situation. It could take longer than that. And when you obtain a bachelor's degree in psychology, you'll not be able to be a licensed psychologist, but there are many jobs that you could get with a psychology degree, such as a career counselor, helping other people that are trying to decide what job they would like to have, market research analysis, just analyzing why people buy things that they do, why people are clicking on certain ads, trying to figure out how to structure those things to make them more appealing, to make people want to look at those things and do more research about it or possibly buy those products. And then one that I have actually done a lot of research on myself is probation and parole officers. Most of the people that are in our jail system today have some sort of either mental illness or history of childhood trauma. And so studies in psychology would be so helpful in those job positions, as far as just working with the inmates, working with the people that come in there, trying to figure out how to help them to stay out of those positions in the future. If you decide to go further in your degree, the next step would be getting a master's degree. And now a master's degree is usually another 2 to 4 years of school after you've earned your bachelor's degree, depending on which program and which institution you decide to attend. And so getting your master's in psychology would open up a few more advanced positions to you as far as employment, such as being an instructor at your local college, a social service manager, which would basically be working with the social workers that are out helping the families, and it would just be providing more activities and more resources for those social workers as far as mental health services, career services, things like that to help the people in need that they are working with every day. And then you could possibly even become a public school counselor or a lower level counselor with a master's degree. Counseling services would be on a state-by-state basis, depending on where you currently live and where you're planning to be licensed, whether or not they require anything farther than a master's degree. If you then continue on in your education after a master's degree, you would be working on a PhD. And so to get your doctorate would be another 4 to 7 years after you have attained a master's degree, but getting that doctorate degree would open up even larger possibilities for you, such as becoming a mental health clinician. That would be someone who would work with people that are trying to get a diagnosis, someone that has just received a diagnosis and they're trying to figure out where to go next. Marriage and family therapists also are required to have a PhD, working with parents, spouses, children, things like that, trying to help them figure out how to cope in their family structure. And then you could also go into a general psychologist field with individualized specialties, such as a child psychologist, a criminology psychologist. There are so many different types of psychologists that you could choose to become. To be a psychologist, however, you have to be licensed in your state. So the requirements for getting a license to be a psychologist are to obtain your PhD, first of all. Then after you've attained your PhD, you are required to have between 2,000 and 6,000 hours of supervised work time, depending on the state regulations and the program that you choose to get your license through. You will then have to take a series of exams and certifications, and after you have gotten all of that information together and all of the proof that you have completed the supervised work hours, obtained your doctorate, and passed all of the necessary exams, you can then apply for a license in your state. So there are so many different types of professions where a psychology degree would be beneficial. Actually, in every profession, psychology would help you out. Even working in customer service, just being able to talk to people, understand that there might be another reason why they're acting the way that they are. Psychology is just beneficial to everyone in their everyday lives. So if that's something that you're interested in, you now have all of the steps that you would need to take to determine how far you would like to go in your journey to become a psychologist.